Hello there, collective. This is Mr. Geminian, and this is an advice reading for the new year for Leo. So I will be pulling two cards plus a clarifier for every quarter of the year, of the new year. Um, so this is a timeless reading. So it's 2026, but if you find this in 2050, it's still valid. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus. Okay, any one of those will resonate. And if you want to know what your sun, moon, or rising is, you can go on the internet and find your birth chart. And we say Venus because that's how you process love. Whatever star sign runs your love life. So this is the advice for you, Leo, for the next year. We are going to 2026. But like I said, this is a timeless reading. So let's see what we got in store for you. And please like, subscribe, and share. I really want to grow my channel and start doing personal readings. Like I said, that mimics work that I do in real life. Okay, so what do we got for Leo in the first quarter of the new year? Two of Cups, we have love or soulmate. That could be getting a new soulmate or love or a best friend or becoming close to a family member or something. And then we have the Eight of Cups. So I'm getting two things here because it's not really clear. You could be breaking away from somebody, or you could be going towards somebody and walking away from something. So you could be walking away from being single. You could be walking away from a relationship. You can be walking away from a bad situation to go towards somebody. This could be like, for instance, this could be some like so collective, listen, we're human, and I don't say it's in a bad way, but we all have addictions, right? We have addictions to like video games, food, sex, gambling, money, whatever, work, whatever, loneliness. Sometimes we're victims or whatever. But the truth is, you're learning to walk away and you're opening yourself up to love. And I'm really getting that you're inviting people to finally reach you. I think you've been alone for a long time, Leo. Even though you are the star of the room, you're the sun wherever you go. Guess what? The sun has trouble being touched because why? You'll burn your hand. Sometimes the sun shines too bright and people get lost in that light. And I don't think that I don't think that what you're doing here is dimming your light. I think you're teaching people how to love you. And when you do that and you guide them to you, when you open up, they're going to learn to live in the sun. And this is something that I'm really getting for the new year, is that you're opening yourself up to people. And this is a really big deal, Leo, because you may be all flash and glam, but the truth is, right, you don't really know if people like you or they like the happy-go-lucky person all the time. And that's the problem with Leo, is that people expect the Leos always to be on. And that's hard because Leos are human too. And there's days that sun is hidden behind clouds. There's plenty of cloudy days in the year. So I really would like you to really embrace this in the first quarter of letting people into your life and moving away from things that have kept you isolated and in a negative energy and those types of things. All right, things that gave you self-doubt, I want you to move away from them. In the second quarter for Leo, the Page of Swords and the Death card. So when you move away from something and you go towards love or being loved, you're going to create a death. Death is going to be here because you're moving on. This is a part of you where you're learning to do something different, to live different, to thrive differently. You are going to operate differently in the world. And you're having to realize, what does that mean, right? That's why we have the Page of Swords. And as I've said with the other one, you've got to be passionate about your thoughts. So whatever you are thinking about in this new you here in the second quarter of the year, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, you're never going to actually try to manifest these thoughts. So the thing about the Page of Thought, like, so imagine this. Imagine the Page of Swords is like someone that's like, I'm gonna, I don't know, I'm gonna cure cancer, right? Or like, I want to make an extra $10,000 this year. Well, guess what? if you think about it, for 6 months because you're just like, oh, it's just too much work to do, you're not going to do that then this year, are you? So whatever you come up with, make sure it's practical, make sure it's doable, and make sure that you really are passionate about doing it. Because you'll find that if you're doing something that you think people do to make money, or think people want you to do, or you think society wants you to do, you're never going to do it. And then you just created the cycle you just ended the cycle for no reason. You're just like, it's almost like you left somebody, but then you moved in next door. That's not going to work out. So just keep that in mind, all right? What are you going to do in the third quarter, Leo? We have the Queen of Swords and the Knight of Swords. So, Leo, you have a lot of mental games going on. You're not very grounded, and you need to remember to be grounded during this year. Um, we have emotions and we have thoughts. And something that you have to remember is that when you're in the Queen of Swords energy, you need to make sure that the people you've gotten close to, you don't cut them out. Okay? Notice how they're directly above and under each other. So I want you to keep in mind that people are going to make mistakes. That doesn't mean that you cut them out. If they're helping you, if they're at least consistent, but remember, not everyone can be there for every demand or need that you have. Like, you're going to have to be self-sufficient. And then we have the Knight of Swords here. So not only are you going to learn to cut people out and things out of your life that don't serve you, you're going to want to start going towards new things. But here's the thing, again, it's like, yes, you evolve from a page to a sword, and so you have a couple of ideas and you're going towards them, but you still don't know what you want to do here. So I think it's very important that as you get to the third quarter, you start really getting your options down to 2 if you can, 3 at most, but no more than 3. And you get here and you start saying, how much of these are really real? Because remember, things that you're planning out in life, they take time. They take time to manifest and to do. Even when someone starts a business, buildings don't go up in like a month. Sometimes they take 2 or 3 months, right? And that's if you have the capital, right? They get built quickly and all these things. But if you don't, then you have to wait until you get the money and you start construction, X, Y, Z, whatever it may be. But this is very, very important. So keep that in mind. And then we finally have, okay, so let's see what the last quarter is. And finally, the Ten of Cups with the Eight of Swords. So let me show you why you have this dichotomy here. Because you took yourself in a new direction by letting people in, kind of healed you, kind of made you a little bit stable. You met some new people, had some new experiences. You start realizing who was good for you, who wasn't. It's like light shone through the darkness here, and you start going towards good things. You actually feel really good emotionally. And you feel good, and you got this Ten of Cups because you invited people into your life. What scares you is losing them. What scares you is that you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And this is the last quarter. And you need to remember something. Whether it's love, family, or friends, people come and go. But you need to learn, Leo, that while you have someone, enjoy them. And you don't have to distrust someone unless they've given you a reason to distrust them. Don't let, I mean, you don't have to trust them like blindly, but you need to make sure that you don't always look for a snake under every rock. Like, you always can't think the worst. You can't be jaded. Enjoy it while you have it. And if something goes wrong, then just learn from it. But you're always in this energy of like, oh my God, what's going to go wrong? What's going to happen next? Don't. Like, I think 2026 for you is going to be a year of new positive experiences, but you're going to have the issue of trying to cling to the past, and you can't, because new experiences are not the past. Okay, let's see what tarot says. Let's clarify. Let's use the Nightmare Before Christmas deck. These are, let me shuffle these once. I think they've already been shuffled, but let's see. In the first quarter, for the clarification, we have the Nine of Swords and the Four of Swords. So as you start letting people in, there's a lot of anxiety. Is this person going to hurt me? Whether it's love, family, are they going to take advantage of me? Are they going to turn their back on me? There's a lot of anxiety, so that's going to be normal. Expect that in the first part of the year, Leo. But as you settle in and you move away from things that don't serve you, you're going to be able to rest. We have the Four of Swords here. And you can always defend yourself if you need to, but you're going to be able to rest, let your mind rest. And when you let your mind rest, this is when the thoughts and inspirations come in. So just remember that once you allow someone in your life, understand that you didn't just let anyone in your life, you let someone that you already trust or has somehow earned your trust. What do we have for the next one? The second quarter. The Hermit and the King of Candles. So again, we're it's like you did make progress, but you have to make sure that the Hermit is about clarity. Okay, it's about shining the light in the darkness. It's really about deep reflection. You just need to make sure that you don't linger in this energy more than you need to. Yes, really research what you're trying to do, but don't use it as an excuse not to do anything. Because the truth is, when you let whoever this new soulmate, whether friend, lover, or family or whatever, in, you're going to have this foundational support in your life you didn't have for a long time, or maybe never have experienced in this way. And what's going to happen is it's going to bring out a side of you that you never knew what you had. You are going to be able to, in some essence, rise to this higher form, this higher vibrational form. And it's very attractive, it's very passionate, it's much more of a doing attitude. And this is where you're going to feel like I can take risks because I have someone there with me. I have someone who will catch me if I fall. And this is the energy you're going to feel in the second quarter. In the third quarter, the clarifications are so this is why you're in the sword energy. You go from the King of Candles, the King of Wands, to the Queen of Swords, because people are attracted to a King of Wands, right? You are attractive sexually, whether it's because you're different personality wise, you're eccentric, you're just naturally good looking, whatever it may be. This scares you because you understand that people are naturally attracted to you, but you've never let them close. And now that you let them close, you have this fear that people are going to take advantage of you. This is the Devil card. And so you're really trying to be very picky with who gets in your life in the third quarter. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you also have to remember that you have a tendency that if you do this, you're going to fall right back into the Nine of Swords and this anxiety mode that you can trust no one. And we're not trying to do that in 2026. I think like Cancer, you, Leo, are really trying to it's weird to say that a Leo put themselves out there, but let's be realistic. Leo, just by their very nature, draws everyone's attention. But out of all those people that Leo draws attention to, how many of them is he or she really close to? There's tons of small talk and small jokes or people just giving compliments or looking at you, but how many of them do you really know? How many of them would invite you over for a birthday party or Thanksgiving dinner? That's the point of this, is that you have people who start showing interest of wanting to be either soulmates or closer, like friends or whatever, and you're just like, whoa, where were you all before? So just remember that as a knight, you can go towards people and remember that you can also cut people off if they show to be weird. And now we have the Three of Cups here because you are looking for good times. You are looking for more times, more relationships. And relationships aren't just romantic. This is more quality time with friends, quality time with family, not being alone as much, Leo. Because, like I said, Leos have trouble trusting whether or not if people are with them because of who they are or because of what they think of them, like who they project them to be. So you're really wanting something more of substance in the third quarter. And the last quarter of the year, This eight of swords comes into play because of the chariot. You're in a really good place, and you know that you don't want to lose it. You want to maintain this, and you want to go further. You want to go from the Ten of Cups. Now you also want to go to the Ten of Pentacles, right? Now that you're emotionally stable, right? The emotions, you want to be grounded, and Pentacles are very grounded. Now that you realize that the world is not as bad as it seems, like, where do I go? And then we have the Ace of Candles. This is this is going to make you very attractive to people. So you're going to be pulling in a lot of trade. I ain't saying that you're going to go towards that trade because you may have somebody, but people are going to be very attracted to you. They're going to realize that you're probably a shrewd business person. You're very charismatic. You're substance. You're not just looks. And so that's going to scare you too. It's so weird. You're more worried about your success and your talent because of who it attracts. But it's who you are, Leo. If you don't shine, then what's the point of being a Leo? That's your whole thing. That's your whole shtick. Let me see real quick. What is this? I want to just clarify these two more. Ace of whatever you decide to do, Leo, you're going to be successful. We have the Ace of Swords here. Like, this is crazy. This is a really good reading too. What I need you to understand, Leo, is don't stay in these two energies, the anxiety and regret. You can't undo the past. You drop these bottles of wine, you still have two. Use what you got, but don't mourn what you lost. So any negative experiences, you learn from them, and they're only going to repeat themselves, Leo, if you repeat the sins of the past, the mistakes of the past. If you don't, this isn't going to be an issue. At the bottom of the deck is the Queen of Presents. And at the bottom of this deck is the Ten of Wands. You feel very burdened because you're by yourself. But if you go towards people, it's going to really help you. Leo, I hope this was a good reading for you. And if you liked it, please like, subscribe, to share. Please comment below what you really found helpful to you. Like I said, I think I have a gift for tarot, and I just want to share this with y'all. So please like, subscribe, and share. And I hope this was helpful. Have a happy new year.